give you a quick video on how to get your glass good so that you don't slam your door. I don't make movies, so you'll have to bear with me. Hopefully you know how to get your panels off. You have, I think there's 2 screws down here. Get those out. This piece, this slides off. This comes right off with that. I think behind it is another 2 big giant screws, maybe. I forget. I know there's a screw there and a screw there. And then you pop the bottom panel off. There's a bunch of those plastic tabs. You should get the thing that you have at the store that goes under there and pries. Don't use a screwdriver. You scratch your paint. If you rip them off like I did, everything breaks. I don't care. I'm changing the panels, so all mine broke. You take the bottom panel off first, then you get the top panel. The top panel has these 2 metal tabs that lock it in place. You have to push the panel that way and up, it pops, and this way and up, it pops. Top panel comes off. You'll have to get all this out. It's not too bad. These just have tabs that you bend, and I think you probably take this off first. There's something else. This is, what the hell is this? This is the lock, I think. I don't know what I did with the lock. And then this dude, this is for your mirror. There's only somewhere there's an Allen key. I don't know where it is. I lost it, but I know there's an Allen key. Anyway, there's an Allen key behind it back here. There's 1 Allen key. I think it's on the door panel. You loosen that, and this pulls right out. It comes right out of the chrome piece that looks all pretty. But this is what's behind it. It just all falls out. Everything will still function. See my windows? Okay, so my glass is screwed up. So you're nice and loose. Everything's worn. Everything's destroyed from 30 years of use. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. See how everything moves? Let's see. Flopping around. Everything's worn, but that's okay. The idea of the adjustments in the door is to get the glass good when it's all the way up. So on the front of the door, right here, this is your front stopper. This goes up or down, 10 millimeter, loosen it. You either move it up or down. That's going to stop how high the glass goes up on the front side when it's all the way up. That's what the window jams up against. And there's one in the back here. This is the stopper for the back. With those 2, what you want to do is get your glass level with your seals. So my seals, they're not bad. They're not perfect. It's a T-top. I didn't even tweak it. Mine are a little off. They're, you might be dry rotted. It doesn't matter. What you do is you use those 2 stops first. That's how I do it. Let's see if you can see the stopper. Oops. There it is there. That metal, that piece with the black. And you see the glass has a little shaft on it. When the window comes up, it jams up against that. Okay? And you can see the window moving. See the window's flopping around because it's 30 years old. That stopper will force it. It can't go up anymore. And the same thing in the back. It's a little harder to see in the back, but the back also will jam up. The point is, that's the first thing I do, is I try to use those stoppers so that my glass, when I'm fully closed, it's a little tricky. It's like 7 times you have to do it. When you're fully closed, you want your glass level with your seal. And most of these cars, when they get old, your glass jams up against your rubber. So when you're full closed, you slam your door, you really slam it because you're crushing the rubber. Usually bring the glass down. You drop the stoppers down. That'll prevent the glass from going up any higher. So you'll have a little bit of an air gap, and you just make it as straight as you can for your seals and your car, depending on what's wearing away. You make it match. My seals over here are twisted. They're not correct. It doesn't matter. When I close my door, it may sound loud, but I'm really not slamming it. I'm sealed. I'm up inside the seal. It's probably waterproof. This seal's not great, but it's airtight, and that's pretty well perfect. So first, use those stoppers to get your height as close to matching your seals as you can. All right, and there's more to it, but that's the basics. You get that done. Now, you have these guys. This does a bunch of things. It has the felt that pushes on your glass. Make sure you have felt. If you don't, get some. It will destroy your window without it. And there's 2 of them. So you can loosen this. You can force your window that way, outside, or you can loosen it and your window will come towards you. And that is for this seal that's on the outside. You can crunch that really tight by forcing the glass towards it with those. Those are also for your inner door panels. So once they're tight, if you want, you can bend these really hard, and that will let your door panel squeeze tighter against the glass. If your door panels are flopping around, you can adjust the gaps just by bending it. I don't recommend pliers. Your fingers could do it. This one, you can see it's got a big gap here. This one's a little tighter, so they're not the same. I'll work on that later. It doesn't matter. So you got the 2 stops. That'll be for your height. There's a little more to it. You can make your window perfect. It doesn't matter what's destroyed. You can pretty much compensate for everything. The back stopper, by the way, it's freezing in my garage. This is the back stopper. 2 10mm bolts. Make sure they're snug. Don't crack your glass. But anything that you have going into your glass, make sure it's tight, because those being loose will make all your adjustments. They won't stay. Everything will shift. So you snug these up. There's some sort of felt in between there. Hopefully it's not dry rotted. This stopper, he's pretty crucial. He has a bolt underneath. He goes in and out, okay, depending on where you're standing. If you pull him in towards your inside of the car, I guess, if you pull him in, when you roll the window up, he hits this stopper. By pulling him in, he actually will change. Sorry, this window up. Okay, hear that nice squeak? He's going to change the angle of the glass. See how the glass is tilted? Okay, it's not straight. Okay, that changes how much tilt you have this way. And usually what I do is I get this tilted in. The more you go in with this, the easier it goes under the seal. So when you close it, it's kind of hard to see, but see how it's going under the seal instead of on top? That's because it's angled in towards the car. My window is not, well, you can't get it straight because the glass is bent, but hopefully you get my point. So I use him. Nice close, wasn't too hard. He does this. He adjusts this seal here, up on here. So if you have an air gap up here, which mine has a little bit, but my seals aren't perfect, it's pretty tight. So if you have a big air gap all along here, you can use that bottom stopper to make your glass go in or out. It's hard to simulate, but that's what he does. So he will take care of that back end of your window. There's other adjustments. Where is it? All mine, I kind of sprayed everything black, so I can't find the screws anymore. This guy, okay. All right, now you got, so this is the back stopper right here. Those are the major ones. This is also pretty important. That's what it looks like. That's GM's craftsmanship. I think they basically hacked that off with a saw right from the factory. This is a I don't know, it's like a stabilizer. It's supposed to, these all break, really difficult to change. This stabilizer is riveted into the glass. I do have to change it someday, not today. But this is a new one. See how it's round? And this one is not. So this piece has a shaft on it, about 1.5 inches. It goes down. When your window gets up to full, okay, let's see, really tough to see. Anyway, there we go, it comes up, that pin, it's black. I hope you can see it. It's in there. But in here, this thing has a black pin. It grabs that circle, that plastic oblong circle, and that prevents your glass from rattling. It also changes the position of your glass, so you can force the glass this way or tug it this way a little bit with this. So it does actually serve a purpose. Usually everything is worn out. You do have to adjust this worn out that way so that it at least touches it. It hits it. It keeps the glass tight. When this window is up, this glass is tight. If you have everything adjusted right, your glass will not rattle. It will not wobble at full open. And when you close it, it's going to really grab the seal. There's still more. There's tons of adjustments you can do. It really doesn't matter what's ruined. You can compensate for everything. Alright, so there's the back one. Over here, okay, there's this. I'm not sure if there's one or two. I think it's just one. This, I believe it's just this guy. Might be both of these. Trial and error. Loosen them both. See what happens. But that's part of your scissor. The scissor follows this track. This is for your windows. When they go up, it follows this track. Loosen these two, and you see how they have the oblong holes. They can go forward or back. That will actually, if you wanted to, I don't know why, but if your glass was too far forward or too far back when your door is closed, moving that will move the track, and that will help shift your glass forward or back if you just can't get your glass in the seals. Maybe your gaps on your doors are off. You can compensate with that. I don't think I've ever had to move those. Once you do the stops, the up and down stops pretty much take care of a lot of problems. Up and down stops, and this guy, getting the window to tilt into the car. You want it to come into the seal so it goes up under the seal. And that's pretty much the most important one. It's the front stop. And then the felt in here. You need that felt. That pushing on your glass is key. That helps your glass stay straight. And I like to get the glass. You hear all that rubbing? That's everything getting tight. I like the glass to be, you actually get it a little lower than your seal. See, I'm not quite up in there. See? There we go. I'm under the seal, and then when you give it a push, you're up under there. It's a pretty good seal. And there's a lot you can tweak. After you get the door panels on, it kind of sucks, but you can see what you did wrong and do a little bit more adjustment. Mine's busted here. That'll be fixed. So I hope that helps. If you have questions, I don't know what I left out. That's pretty much, yeah, there are other bolts. They all do serve a purpose. I believe these will get you can even get more height out of your scissor gate. Yeah, from that. And it doesn't matter how much wear you have in the little bearings that are in here. It doesn't matter. Your glass can be loose. See, my glass is flopping around. At half window or partial window, these are the only things that kind of stabilize your window. It really doesn't matter. Once you're closed, that's it. Once you're closed, the stoppers straighten everything out. It's got a solid close. I mean, it's not like a new car, but that's solid. I'm not slamming it, and my glass is sealed. So, happy, okay? All right. And good luck.